Okay, just sound. Okay, okay, I'll just check again to make sure that it's clear enough. There you go. That's good, and relatively little lag as well. Volume's on now. That was very much just me muting things. I can see that some people have joined us already. Clearly subscribers to the channel. Thank you for joining us so promptly, so punctually. As always, if you just want to pop your team name into the chat box so we can start ticking off our roster and getting a sense of who's in. We obviously wouldn't want to start without anybody. So if you could just, when you've got a second, just pop in your team names into the chat. Say hello to Farid. He loves the limelight, does Farid. That's why he's hiding in an earbud. But yeah, just say hi, pop your team name in the chat, get yourselves comfortable. And as always, we will look to start at past. But it's great to have so many of you with us already. For week seven of the quiz. I thought I was going to run out of questions and viewers by week 3. So really quite a remarkable achievement, if I do say so myself. So yeah, just team names and a hello in the chat. Agatha Quisty here as always. Thanks, Pam. Nice to see you. You know, well, for what it is. This is my favourite bit of the evening, actually, where people start joining and I start talking to people rather than kind of awkwardly sitting and kind of shiftily looking around, waiting for people to come and join me. Hi, Victoria. Yeah, well, I can't. Your weeks must be really, really at the moment if that's true. But thank you. So you're the fielders, if memory serves. So Agatha Christie and the fielders have raised their hands and announced themselves. Farad will tick those off on the register. Farad, how are you doing this evening? Yeah, I'm sure that's a feeling shared by many. Farad says he's just getting a little bit bored of lockdown now. He says when people start to say that Joe's chat is the highlight of their week, then clearly something has to change. I couldn't agree more. I think he's hit the nail on the head there. I hope we're all feeling alert. I hope we're all feeling really alert this evening. Some of you probably out in the park having a picnic, but as long as you're alert, that's all that matters. Excellent. Hi, Jamie. Again on no plane, present and ready for. This is a sort of defeatist attitude that I from you, Jamie. If Winfield can almost win the quiz and be foiled by about 20 feet of the Eiffel Tower, you don't have to settle for mid-table mediocrity, Jamie. Come on. Laggers Legends are in, all accounted for. Thank you, Callum. Yeah, I need to link your assembly actually, Farad, to my form. Is that a new one that you've done for this week? Yeah, Brandon mentioned he is so excited for the assembly that it feels like Christmas, his birthday, and Hanukkah all rolled into one. He did. Was that to the second one as well? Because I know he loved your first one. Yeah, you're a brave man. I couldn't think of anything worse than kind of filming myself talking for 10 minutes and sharing it online. It's a horrible thought. Imagine the memes that might be made of you. You've probably already gone viral. Hello, anyone who's just joined. As always, say hello, pop your team name into the chat, and we can start to tick people off as they join. I can already see we've got 16, 17 viewers, which would suggest a fair few teams are already here, nice and promptly. So if you can just put your team names into the chat, then we can start to get a sense of who's here and who's not. As always, we would love to be up promptly at 7:30. Hi, Phil. Joe Wicks is all you need are in the house. Hi, Alona. Dr. Farkas also in the house. Great to see. Reassuring. Always need a doctor in the house. And no, biologists and chemists don't count. Hi, Pete. Hi, Emily. Wuhan Clan, and Let's Get Quizzical. Two of the stalwarts of the quiz by this stage now. Long-time servants of the NSB COVID quiz. Always here, always enthusiastic, always challenging for the top 25. They're the sorts of teams you need. The bread and butter, the glue. The glue. That's what you are, Pete and Emily. You're glue. Hi, Avari. Newly qualified teachers are in. Steph and social distancing are also in. Russ, always a pleasure, never a chore. Russ Farad asks, what are your thoughts about golf opening? He presumes that you are, and I quote, buzzing. I mean, if golf's all you've got, if it's the only sport you're allowed to do, I suppose it probably is tolerable. Surprised more people. Is it already open? So am I to read into this that some of our regular golfers probably are choosing the 18 holes rather than the 60 questions? John Elder, John Marshall, Gary Burton, at the first possible opportunity to not play the quiz, are not playing the quiz. Literally, the first thing even approaching a better offer, and they've sacked it off. Well, I hope they get lots of bogeys. And no condors. If you know, you know. Yeah, Russ says he's buzzing, Farad, he's buzzing. But buzzing, but loyal, because he's still here. Thank you, Russ. And I know that that Armstrong loves a bit of golf, and he's still here. Yeah, Phil. I was going to mention that in a little while, but Johnny has got a better excuse. I mean, let's be honest. Johnny would be playing golf if he hadn't just become a father for the second time. But yeah, as Phil's just alluded to there, Johnny Hewitt of PE fame has become a father again with his lovely wife Ruth. They have given birth to a daughter, or Ruth has. I mean, Johnny's role in it was, not recent. And he says that it's currently all good and all fantastic. So I'll mention it again when everyone's assembled just before we start. But it's lovely to see another. It's just lovely to see, isn't it? And we wish Johnny and Ruth all the best. I'm sure I can speak for everybody on that one. So thanks for bringing that up, Phil. Quiz read? No, not at all. Not at all. If anyone's going to steal my thunder, it's going to be Beaumont. He's he's better at rugby than me as well. Can't deny it. Hi, Helen. Quiz read are assembling. Will that is not as frightening a statement as it once was? Once indomitable, now vulnerability. They can be beaten. But I think there's got to be some fire in the belly of Quiz Read tonight to read that lost crown. So we'll be interested to see what you guys can do. Are you a full set tonight, Helen, or are you a little bit more depleted like you were last week? That might make the difference as to whether people think they have any hope. So yeah, keep sticking your names in the chat. Keep letting us know you're here, giving us the virtual wave. The nice socially distant wave. Thompson Tartans, lovely to have you on board as well. So just do a little quick little roll call. Lady Coviders, surely you're usually the first to say that you were desperately scrambling around to be on time, but when you're here, let us know. Reigning champions, Tequila Mockingbird, are you present? The Wilborns, are you present and correct? Anything, we haven't seen anything from the nearly men of last week's quiz, the Winfield's Redemption. Finance are in. Hi, Gav. Still got 5 minutes before we're even thinking about starting, so it's hardly a problem. But if you are in, I say it every week, but I'll say it again just for sort of propriety's sake. 4 rounds, 15 questions. 3 of them are simple question and answer. I'll read the questions, you answer the questions. Round 3 will be a picture round, in which you'll get an answer sheet with pictures embedded in, and you just have to identify the image, and I'll tell you what the theme is for that one in due course. No sort of formal interval, but the picture round will serve as a 10-minute break while you get to grips with the pictures and I go and take a breath. Winfield's Redemption are here and the crown corners are nearly ready to go, which is lovely to see. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Julia. Thanks, Tom. Rounds are a mixed bag this evening. Round 1 is science and nature. Round 2 is a general knowledge round. I realised I hadn't actually done just a general knowledge round. I've been so keen to theme everything, but we have a general knowledge round, round 2. Round 3, I'll keep quiet for now. And round 4 is the, I would like to think by now, iconic, you will probably say by now, eminently predictable connections round, where you have your 3 sets of 4 connected answers and you have to identify what links them. I always say this, but I think it just makes the whole process that little bit smoother. Get your answer sheets up and loaded. Ideally, split your screens if you can, so you've got the answer sheets and the video feed of me harking on at you, so you can answer as you go and you don't have to keep flitting between them. It's just a little bit easier. I'll read all the questions twice, so you don't have to kind of ask for repeats as we go. And pen and paper, always invaluable. You can write down your thoughts, you can write down question clues, you can write down questions you might want repeating. For the connections, you can write down the ones you've got. I just think that even in such a high-tech, futuristic quiz, the old pen and paper is still hard to beat. So that would be my recommendation. Yeah, I will do. Still waiting on a few teams. Farrad, have you done a quick little check of who we are waiting on? Yep. Yep, so Shirley, typically organised and cool, calm and collected. Just getting fresh pants on and making sure our eyelashes are stuck on. See, Shirley, this is the kind of thing that I make sure I do at least 20 minutes before the quiz is meant to start. But I've got my full face of studio makeup on. If you can't tell that, it's a problem with your connection and the low resolution of your screen. I look fantastic. Making stylishly arriving at the last minute, the reigning champions, Tequila Mockingbird, strutting in. Hello, Helen. Thanks for joining. So they're the team to beat tonight, everybody. You'll remember, how could you possibly forget, edging out a valiant Winfield's Redemption in the last minute with I'm going to say well-planned and thought-out tiebreaker that I didn't come up with at the very, very last minute. On the height of the Eiffel Tower. I think there was only about 20 feet in it, but it was a thrilling nail-biter of a conclusion, that's for sure. So reigning champions are Helen Topping-Shaw and family Tequila Mockingbird. The Latvians are now in as well. Mr. Sharadine? Yeah, he's probably struggling with the tech. Yeah, we will start in a minute, I think. Tom, I don't know why I did it. I think there was part of me that was starting to feel like I was starting to dangerously resemble you, and I thought I had to do anything in my power to stop that from happening. I don't know. I just felt like not becoming the kind of lockdown slob that I knew I could. I've already put on about 2.5 stone, and I just thought, the kind of big beard, big belly thing is such a cliche. So actually, I took out a new shirt from a packet, I ironed it, I shaved, and I thought I could try and look vaguely presentable, because you never know, the head might play this week. And I just didn't want him to think that I completely lost the plot. Okay, so it is past, and we are pretty much all in. So we'll begin officially. Thanks again for joining us. This is now remarkably week 7 of our lockdown quiz. Farid and I thought that we'd run for a week or two before interest dried up. It would be a kind of flash in the pan. Some people, every week, people send Farid or myself emails and things saying that they enjoyed it. It was the highlight of their week. Leave it for a second. I know lockdown's boring. It's not that boring, but it's really, really nice that you make the effort to say it. So thank you. And we're starting to really get some regular teams now, and we're starting to have a real kind of a bit of a history now. We've got teams who have won week on week. We've got teams who have kind of always been in and around. Last week, Tequila Mockingbird got their first win. We had our first tiebreaker. And I hope you're all enjoying it as much as I am. So, without too much more preamble, I will now ask you to open your round 1 answer sheets. You should have them in the email, and ideally they're already open, but if not, Farid will stick them in the chat in just a second. Follow the link, open the answer sheet, and you should see space for 15 answers on science and nature. As always, I'll read through the questions once. I'll read through the questions again. At any point after I've read through the questions the first time, you are free to submit your answers using the submit button at the bottom of the answer sheet. You don't have to wait for me to read through them a second time. That's just for any that you've missed. If after the second reading you still need a question again, stick it in the chat and I'll happily read it a third time for you. I say happily, I mean slightly reluctantly, but I'll probably do it. Once we've got all of the answer sheets in, Farid will start marking them. I'll start giving you the answers, and then we'll do the scores on the doors. We'll do that for round 1. We'll do it for round 2. Round 3 is a little bit different, and then we've got round 4 afterwards. But hopefully, we'll be all wrapped up by about 9 o'clock, as we usually are. So, round 1, science and nature, starts with question 1. Is a sea turtle warm-blooded or cold-blooded? So your first question of tonight's quiz is a coin toss. Make it easy, you say. It's toss a coin. Is a sea turtle warm-blooded or cold-blooded? Question number 2. What element of the periodic table has the chemical symbol SB? SB. Sierra Bravo, for those people who kind of in the army but aren't. So which chemical element has the symbol SB? You might not be able to toss a coin on this one. Could you, Farid, could you just pop the answer sheet into the chat one more time, just so Jamie can get his hands on it? It should be in the email, Jamie, and I think it's further up the chat, but Farid will pop it in there again for you, just so you can quickly grab it. I'll hold fire on the next question until that's done. It hasn't. That's strange. One moment. Yeah, just noticed there's a slight that hasn't come through as we'd like it to have done. Is it easier if I do it, Farid? No, it hasn't. Oh, yes, it has now. Yeah, it has now. There you go, Jamie. thanks for pointing that out. I think it hadn't come through the first time, so I hadn't got the answer sheet. It is in there now. I'll resume on question 3. The bark of which tree is also known as nature's aspirin? Question number 4. To the nearest 10, how many calories are there in a regular-sized Mars bar? Now, is running to the snack cupboard and having a look the same as Googling? I'm not sure. It's a morally grey area. So to the nearest 10, how many calories in a standard sized Mars bar? Question number 5. The black hair streak is one of the UK's rarest and most elusive varieties of which creature? So there's the black hair streak. Question number 6. Which London Underground station shares its name with an open star cluster in the constellation Taurus? So which London Underground station shares its name with an open star cluster in the constellation Taurus? Question number 7. In which part of the human body would you find about 1 million units called nephrons? And that is spelt NEPHRONS, nephrons. Which part of the human body would you find them? Question number 8. How often does a bottlenose dolphin shed its skin? Is it A, every 2 hours, B, every 12 hours, or C, every 48 hours? And you can just write A, B, or C for this one. So bottlenose dolphin shed its skin A, every 2 hours, B, every 12 hours, C, every 48 hours. Question number 9, and I'm sure that Gary and Elder will be kicking themselves for missing this one. This is straight out of the textbook, I'm sure. There are three types of muscle tissue in the human body: skeletal, cardiac, and which other? Question number 10. What is the name of the disk or belt of small celestial bodies and objects, including the dwarf planet Pluto, that lies beyond the orbit of Neptune? It is often considered to mark the outer boundary of our solar system. So what is it called? Question 11. Which dinosaur of the Cretaceous period has a name meaning fast thief? Fast thief. What dinosaur has a name that means that? Question number 12. The average adult male of which of the following weighs more? A grizzly bear or a silverback gorilla? Which weighs more? Question number 13. What is the SI unit used to measure the amount of a substance? And the word there very specifically underlined on my question sheet, the amount, the SI unit to measure the amount of a subject. What is that measured in? Question 14. In computing, what do the letters GIF stand for in the acronym GIF? Or is that GIF? I've never known. But what do the letters stand for in GIF/GIF? It is GIF, by the way. And if you say GIF, there's something seriously wrong with you. What do you say, Farad? You say GIF, don't you? You're a sensible human being. Yeah. It's probably meme, isn't it? If it's Greek, but I pronounce it meme. Imagine how out of touch the kids would think you were if you said, yes, I saw a meme on the internet the other day. They would laugh you out of your video assembly. And finally, question 15. Which British scientist became in 1964 the third female recipient of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry? She was recognized for her pioneering work in using X-rays to identify the structure of important biomolecules such as vitamin B, penicillin, and insulin. So you can submit your answers right now if you want to. If you're confident that you've heard enough, you can submit them now. I will fire through them one more time quickly, just to give you another go if you missed any. So, question 1, is a sea turtle warm-blooded or cold-blooded? Question 2, what element of the periodic table has the chemical symbol SB? Sierra Bravo, SB. Question 3, the bark of which tree is also known as nature's aspirin? Question 4, to the nearest 10, how many calories are there in a regular sized Mars bar? Question 5. The black hair streak is one of the UK's rarest and most elusive varieties of which creature? Question 6. Which London Underground station shares its name with an open star cluster in the constellation Taurus? Question 7. In which part of the human body would you find about 1 million units called nephrons? Question 8. How often does a bottlenose dolphin shed its skin? A, 2 hours. B, 12 hours. C, 48 hours. Question 9. The 3 types of muscle tissue in the human body are skeletal, cardiac, and which other? Question 10. What is the name of the disk or belt of small celestial bodies and objects, sometimes considered to mark the boundary of our solar system? Question 11, which dinosaur of the Cretaceous has a name meaning fast thief? Question 12, which of these is heavier, a grizzly bear or a silverback gorilla? Question 13, what is the SI unit used to measure the amount of substance? Question 14, in computing, what do the letters GIF actually stand for in the controversial acronym GIF? And question 15, which British scientist became in 1964 the third female recipient of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for her pioneering work using X-rays to identify the structure of molecules? So answers starting to come in a flurry already. If you do need any repeating for a second time, put the question number in the chat and I will oblige. Otherwise, have a chat, have a think, and get your answers in to Farid as soon as possible so he can mark them. Dr. Farkas wasting no time. Laggers Legends, Agatha Christie straight in. Pam, very confident on this science round there. I like it. Crown Corners as well. I say confident. I suppose it could be the absolute opposite, couldn't it? It could be confidence. It could be complete despair and hopelessness and a sort of throwing your toys out of the pram. Oh, we'll just submit it anyway. But seeing the caliber of teams who have submitted early, I don't think that's the case at all. Lona, you're just being. The fielders are in. Social distancing are in. Steph's confident. Yeah, but yeah. All of a sudden, there is just 24 Mars bars suddenly need eating, as people have dashed to the cupboard. In fact, I reckon someone's been sent to the shop. I bet poor Ewan Thompson's been sent to run to the shop to get a Mars bar. And he's bumped into Beth Wilborn and Harry Shaw, who all been sent on an errand. And Chris Crook as well. Quick, go and get a Mars bar. Chris, you brought a fun size one. It said regular. What's wrong with you? So thank you for teams that have already submitted. We've just got over about half of the Coming. This is actually my favourite bit, where I actually get to see the answers you've put in. Yeah, I bet he did eat it before you got home. Question 6, Emily. Say that again, sorry. Give me a second. Question 6, Emily. Question 6. Which London Underground station shares its name with an open star cluster in the constellation Taurus? What the... Yeah, very good. It's shocking, isn't it? Which team's that? They've got to be named and shamed. That's horrific. I love the fact that underneath that is another answer that, if you combine the two, is quite a funny image. We've all suffered from that, haven't we? What was it, sorry? Yeah. Is it? I didn't realise it was that one. Okay, just a few now I think we're waiting on. Let's have a look. Oh my goodness. That's not where I want it to be. Yeah, so just waiting on chances, and I ain't getting on no plane. Okay, all in. Great stuff. So whilst Farad calculates your achievements, I will give you the answers that you are so desperate to hear. So, starting at the top, 15 out of 20 teams that we've marked so far have managed to get the coin toss right on this to identify that a sea turtle was a reptile and therefore was cold-blooded. Sea turtles are cold-blooded. Question 2, tricky one. It's one of those elements like lead that its chemical symbol derives from its kind of Latin or Greek name. SB is actually the chemical symbol for antimony. So not one that you can kind of guess necessarily, but plenty of you knew that one. Question 3, nature's aspirin is the bark of the willow tree. The willow tree. Question 4, to the nearest 10, how many calories are there in a regular size Mars bar? It is 230. 230. And I would say worth everyone. Worth everyone. Question 5, the black hair streak is one of the UK's rarest varieties of butterfly. Not particularly creatively named butterflies, I think, in the main. The small white, the large white, they're very boring, and anyone that knows butterfly names, really, I'm not sure about them as an individual. But that particular one, the black hair streak, is a rare butterfly. The underground station, this looks to be the toughest question so far, that shares its name with an open star cluster in the constellation Taurus. That is Seven Sisters. The star cluster, sometimes known as the Pleiades or the Seven Sisters, and the tube station of the same name. Nephrons, question 7, would be found in the kidneys. The kidneys. Question 8, 50-50 split on this one, down the middle, right and wrong. Bottlenose dolphins, amazingly, remarkably, shed their skins every 2 hours. Every 2 hours. So that was A, every 2 hours. Question 9, skeletal, cardiac, and smooth are the three muscle tissue types. We don't usually name and shame in this quiz, but Russ Parker, you know what you said, and you know that it's absolutely shocking. Truly shameful. Truly shameful. Question 10. The disk or belt of small bodies outside the orbit of Neptune is the Kuiper belt. The Kuiper belt. Kuiper, containing lots of kind of asteroids and dwarf planets and moons and the like. Question 11. The dinosaur. Everyone got this one. It seems like it might be tough, and then you go, oh, obviously. It is the Velociraptor. Veloci, speed, and raptor, thief, Velociraptor. Despite appearing in Jurassic Park, not actually from the Jurassic period. Question 12, bit surprising this. This one throws people a little bit. Which is heavier, the grizzly bear or the silverback gorilla? It's the grizzly bear by some way. The average adult male grizzly bear weighs 600 pounds, and the average male silverback gorilla only 350 pounds. I reckon by the end of lockdown, the average member of NSB staff might be pushing the silverback gorilla. I know I will, but I think the grizzly bear still is a way off. Bit of a pure science one, this. The SI unit used to measure the amount of a substance is a mole. Mole. Question 14. In computing, the letters GIF stand for graphic interchange format. So when you are sharing those hilarious moving images with your friends, you are communicating in graphic interchange format, or giraffic interchange format, as some heathens would suggest. And the female scientist who won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1964 was, of course, Dorothy Hodgkin. Dorothy Hodgkin. Have I managed to buy enough time? Okay, so let's start with teams who got, there are quite a few of them, so I'm going to say teams who got 12 or more in that round, which puts them in joint third. So you can tell already the standard tonight is very high. So teams that got 12 points were the Fielders, Winfield's Redemption, Thompson Tartans, and Quiz Reed. So that's 4 teams in joint third place. Joint first place, going one better, Ali Clinton and the Latvians, and reigning champions Helen Topping Shaw and Tequila Mockingbird. But there is only 3 points separating joint first and joint 12th. You've got Social Quizzing and Financing Our Chances down with 10 points, a whole host of teams on 11 in the middle. So a very, very tight table after round 1. Farid, could you please fire the answer sheet for round 2 into the chat for me, please? If you've already got it to hand, you can open it up now. But round 2 will be 15 questions on general knowledge. We'll take a minute, just take a quick breather, so people can get themselves organised, and then we'll start round 2, general knowledge. Okay. Okay. Tom Sons, we'll come back to it. If it becomes a relevant contest, we'll come back to it. In fact, if Farid can deal with these in the background quite often, So if you want to just put your contest or your challenge in the chat, we'll have a look into it. I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm sure it is valid in some way, but we'll just check whether it meets the parameters of the question entirely. That was one that the majority of teams did answer with the answer I had. So, but we'll look into it. I won't shoot it down immediately. That would be absolutely wrong. Okay, so round 2 is general knowledge, which doesn't give you much indication. It's just questions about stuff, but you'll be fine. So, question number one. Question number 1. Which boxer was nicknamed the Bronx Bull and Raging Bull? Oh, and Farid Russ also mentions that he's not seemingly on the score sheet. Monkman and Siegel. Russ, got you covered. Thanks for letting us know. So, which boxer was nicknamed the Bronx Bull and Raging Bull? Question 2. The Jams, Paul Weller and Mick Talbot of Dexys Midnight Runners formed which group in 1983? Their hits included Shout It to the Top and Long Hot Summer. In his role as chief statistician, I lost that word entirely there. Statistician has put in the league table and the answers and stats into the chat for you as well if you are number crunchers. Any excuse for a spreadsheet, eh? Question 3. What name, derived from the meeting place of the group responsible, was given to an attempt to kill Prime Minister Lord Liverpool and his entire cabinet in 1830? So what was the name of the plot to kill the entire British cabinet in 1830, named after a place? Question 4. This is a bit of classic trivia, I think. The flag of which country is the only national flag to feature people? And that is, I'll stress, that is a national flag, and it is people in their entirety, parts of people. So not, a leg like you might see on the Sicilian flag, but actually full human figures on the flag of which country? And yeah, Gav, I just went for the one that I thought that people would probably know him best from. And to be honest, I imagine for most people, Weller is probably a bigger clue than Talbot on that one. Question number 5. Which alcoholic spirit derives its name from the Dutch for burned wine? Cool. Is that, specifically a type of muscle tissue rather than just muscles? because you obviously there is involuntary muscle reaction. I wasn't sure if it counts as a tissue, but always happy to be generous if you think that if your research suggests it's a valid answer. I'll trust your judgment on that. The question did state muscle tissue, so it might just be worth checking that one. Okay, question. Farad's just doing your check now. Thompson Tartans. He's just doing his research. Question 6. What is the most populous African nation? Country in Africa with the largest population. Question number 7. Which celebrated Italian director's films include 8½, and La Dolce Vita? Take it. Absolutely. That is an authority on high. Question number 8. Who did Game of Thrones star Sophie Turner marry twice last year? Once in Vegas and once in Provence. That was question 8. Question number 9. Did Britain win more Olympics at London 2012 or Rio 2016? And that is medals of any colour. Did Britain win more medals at London 2012 or Rio 2016? Question 10. What is the longest river in Asia that is not contained entirely within the borders of China? And because I'm sure the CCP are watching this stream, I am including Tibet in China in this, because Tibet is part of China. Everybody knows that. So the longest river in Asia that is not contained entirely within the borders of the People's Republic of China. Ilona, you can't say that sort of thing in here. My Huawei phone is starting to buzz at me and telling me to give it your address. Question 11. On the 16th of June each year, Bloomsday celebrates the life and work of which classic author? I've never heard of Taiwan. Doesn't exist. Question number 12. In which ballet is it common for the same dancer to portray both Odette and Odile? So in which ballet is it common for the same actor to play both of those roles, Odette and Odile, or Odile? Question 13. In which satirical US show, which ran from 2006 to 2013, did Tina Fey play Liz Lemon, a sexually frightened know-it-all? Yeah, Ali, I've just got to get the Harry Potter and the Disney question in now, and everyone will be happy. Oh, and Star Wars as well. Yeah, all of those things. Question number 14. I would say this is for the Susie Dents amongst you, but there's only one Susie Dent. Only 2 words in the English language end with the letters MT. MT, Mike Tango. Name either for a point. Either of the 2 words in the OED that end in the letters MT. You'll either know this one like that because you've heard it before, or you're going to be definitely scribbling down words and playing the alphabet game and trying to get that one. But it'll come. It'll come. Keep going. You'll get there. And final question of the round and the halfway point of the quiz. Of the 4 artists after whom the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were named, who died the latest? Or lived the latest, if I'm kind of a glass half full kind of person. So of the 4 artists after whom the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were named, who died the latest? Okay, if you are happy with your answers, you can submit them at any point, but I'll quickly rattle through them a second time for anyone that's missed anything. Which boxer was nicknamed the Bronx Bull and Raging Bull? Question 2, Paul Weller and Mick Talbot formed which group in 1983 with hits including Shout It to the Top and Long Hot Summer? Question 3, what name derived from the meeting place of the group responsible was given to an attempt to kill Lord Liverpool and his entire cabinet in 1830? Question 4, the flag of which country is the only national flag to feature people? Question 5, which spirit derives its name from the Dutch for burned wine? Question 6, what is the most populous African country? Question 7, which celebrated Italian directors' films include La Dolce Vita and 8½? Question 8, who did Game of Thrones star Sophie Turner marry last year? Once in Vegas, once in Provence. Question 9, did Britain win more Olympic medals at Rio 2016 or London 2012? Question 10. What is the longest river in Asia that is not contained entirely within the borders of China? China. Question 11. On the 16th of June each year, Bloomsday celebrates the life and work of which classic author? Question 12. In which ballet is it common for the same dancer to portray both Odette and Odile? Question 13. In which US show, running from 2006 to 2013, did Tina Fey play Liz Lemon, a sexually frightened know-it-all? Question 14. Only 2 words in the English language end with the letters MT. Name either for a point. And question 15. Of the 4 artists after whom the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were named, who died the latest? Craig, question 3 for you. What name, derived from the meeting place of the group responsible, was given to an attempt to kill Prime Minister Lord Liverpool and his entire cabinet in 1830? So start submitting your answers as soon as you are ready to do so. And as soon as they're in, I'll start going through the answers and Farad will start marking. We are very, very tight. A narrow lead at the top for the Latvians and reigning champions Tequila Mockingbird, but there is very, very little in it at the moment, and it really could be anyone's game. In fact, it's now a 3-way tie at the top because the Thompson Tartans challenge was accepted. Farid went through a thorough research process, also known as a quick Google and texting Gary Burton, head of BE, who confirmed that involuntary muscle tissue is an acceptable substitute for the answer smooth muscle tissue, and they were awarded a point. So there is a 3-way tie now at the top after round 1 as you start to submit your answers for round 2, which some of you have already. Thank you to the Wellborns, to the Latvians, to the Crown Corners, Agatha Christie, Lagos Legends, and the Fielders, all in nice and early. If the rest of you can, when you are ready, that would be great. And we can move on to marking and answering. We'll pass it on, Cam. We'll pass it on. Be nice for him to be thanked by a student for the first time in his career. How often do you get thanked, Farid, for your efforts as a teacher? Once every 2 hours, once every 12 hours, once every 48 hours? How often do you receive constructive criticism for what you do? Yeah. And I suppose getting thanked by a line manager who is also a reigning quiz champion must feel pretty special. Okay, it did get mentioned earlier. I was going to pull up but just to bring it up again. Thanks, Phil, for reminding me. Don't need to say anything here. I just thought it would be nice to let everybody know, and he's given me permission to do so. The wonderful Johnny Hewitt down in PE. I'm sure you've all known him. Quite the character. Charisma for days. Has had a second child with his wonderful wife Ruth. This time a daughter. To go a younger sister for Josh. Emma Hewitt coming in at £6. I don't know. I don't understand how to read this sort of baby statistics. I think that's £6:15 or something along those lines. But by all accounts, wonderful, healthy, and beautiful, and Ruth's doing well as well. So normally, we'd probably be saying when we're back at work next week or tomorrow, let's say well done to Johnny. But I'm sure it would mean an awful lot if if and when you see him or get a chance to speak to Johnny, just give him a. He's a very, very proud father to Josh already, and I'm sure will be a wonderful, wonderful dad to young Emma as well. So I don't know if there are any birthdays this week. Aside from that, no one's told me. Everyone was very, very keen to tell me about Craig's birthday and made me promise I'd mention it. But ever since, and Helen and Vari as well. But ever since people have been quiet, I don't know. I had a whole other selection of birthday hats that I was going to put on. I'm willing to bake a cake, but apparently no one gets born on a Wednesday anymore. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm very obviously filling time here. Social distancing, hurry up. Finance your chances, hurry up. Save me from myself. Tequila Mockingbird, you're also responsible for this terrible rambling. Sort it out. Now just Tequila Mockingbird. Mind games for the champions. Make them wait, Helen says. Make them wait for us. The arrogance. I love it. There we go. We're in. They've waited enough. They've suffered. All good? Happy for you to go through the answers? Okay, so the answers to round 2, general knowledge. Steph, Helen, I'm only joking. It happens, and thank you for getting them in anyway. It didn't take you that long in the end. So, the boxer that was nicknamed the Bronx Bull and Raging Bull is probably the key there. Obviously, the film Raging Bull was about the life of Jake LaMotta. Paul Weller and Mick Talbot of Dexter's Midnight Runners and Martin the Parkers, as Gav rightly told me, they formed the Style Council in 1983 with their hits Shout at the Top and Long Hot Summer. I'm a jam man myself, but my mum prefers the Style Council, so I had a lot of that growing up. The name given to the attempt to kill Lord Liverpool and his cabinet, named after the street, I think it's a street off Edgware Road, if memory serves. It was Cato Street Conspiracy, the Cato Street Conspiracy. And we have accepted Cato Street plot or anything like that. But Cato Street was the key. Question 4, the flag of which country is the only national flag to feature people? That is Belize, featuring 2 woodcutters on the flag. One of my teammates on University Challenge. I was on that, by the way, if you didn't know. Never mention it, but got that one really quickly on the buzzer. I was very pleased for him. Michael Thompson, Hinckley in Leicestershire, great man. PhD in physics. Question 5, the spirit which derives its name from the Dutch for burnt wine. Well, burnt wine is something along the lines of Brandywin or Brandywin. My Dutch is not great, as you can tell. It's brandy. Brandy comes from the Dutch for burnt wine. The most populous nation in Africa is Nigeria. Almost all teams getting that one. It's always a bit of a toss-up. Nigeria, Ethiopia, Egypt, but yeah, Nigeria. Question 7, the Italian director of La Dolce Vita and 8.5 is the wonderful Federico Fellini. Sophie Turner married Joe Jonas of the Jonas. Britain won more Olympic medals at Rio 2016. 67 medals in Rio versus 65 in London. Although there were 2 more golds in London, there were more medals overall in Rio. And apparently, and this is a little bit of a stat for you, Team GB are the only team to have won more medals at 5 consecutive Olympic Games, to increase their tally 5 times. And the only other nation other than GB to do that, Azerbaijan. So we're in good company there, aren't we? Name your favourite Azerbaijani athlete, everybody. Sport for choice. Question 10, the largest river in Asia that's not contained entirely within the borders of China is the river Mekong. The Mekong that runs kind of out through China, down through your Cambodias and your Laoses, down through sort of what was once French Indochina. The yellow and the Yangtze are longer, but they are all within the borders of the wonderful People's Republic of China. And I'm sure they're very, very happy to be there. Question 11. Bloomsday celebrates the life and work of James Joyce. Bloomsday deriving from the name Leopold Bloom, the protagonist of Ulysses. The ballet, some of you, I think, probably naming the only ballet that you know. Some of you knowing it in a little bit more detail. Odette and Odile. Well, Odette is the white swan. Odile is the black swan. It is, of course, Swan Lake. The US show with Liz Lemon, the sexually frightened know-it-all, 30 Rock. The only two words in the English language that end with MT, you only had to give me one of these for a point. Dreamt and undreamt, as in, undreamt of. But yeah, the key one there is dreamt, is the only words that end in MT. And finally, of the 4 artists after whom the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles named, who died the latest? Well, the first thing you need to do here is know the Ninja Turtles. The earliest death by some way, Donatello, who was a sculptor who died in the 15th century. Leonardo da Vinci and Raphael died within a year of each other, 1519 and 1520 respectively. But the one that lasted the longest by some margin, dying in 1564 at the age of 88, was Michelangelo of Sistine. Yeah, 25% of teams. Yeah, so almost roll a d4. Yeah, Farid's ecstatic with the stats there lining up. It's a 1 in 4 chance, and 1 in 4 teams got it. It's mathematically beautiful, and the pie chart looks great. But yeah, so that was Michelangelo of kind of Sistine Chapel ceiling and small penis David fame. Thus it's incorrect, because cognac comes from the French region in which it's made, even if it is a variety of brandy. So I will not permit that one, as it doesn't answer all of the question in a way that the smooth muscle tissue did answer the question. Fair shout, but no. Okay, so that is round 2, the answer to round 2. The scores that have been calculated at lightning speed by my good friend Farid Sharadine are looking very, very tasty. Oof, what a close field. Okay, so I will start with the teams in joint 7th with 22 points. So in joint 7th with 22 points each, the newly quarantined teachers, one-time winners of the quiz, don't forget, don't count them out just yet. Financing our chances, the fielders, and the Latvians, all with an impressive 22 points out of a possible 30. In joint 2nd place, we have a ridiculous number of teams. 24 points, Laggers Legends, Agatha Christie, the Wilborns, Winfield's Redemption, and the Thompson Tartans, all on 24, putting them in touching distance of the leaders, the reigning champions, Tequila Mockingbird, Helen Topping Shaw, and family. So a strong 12 in that round. The highest score in that round was 13 out of 15, shared by Jackie, Pam, and Paul, Laggers Legends, and the NQTs as well, all getting 13. But a strong showing in round 1 and round 2 puts Tequila Mockingbird just 1 point ahead at the top with 25. But they are eminently catchable. And don't forget how fiendish those connections rounds are. There's always scope for somebody to slip up. So round 3, as always, we will do a little bit differently. Round 3, in a moment, you will receive your answer sheet. It is a picture round this time. Last week was music intros. This week it's going to be a picture round. The pictures will be embedded into the answer sheet. So all you need to do is look at the picture and put the answer in underneath and submit when you're ready. The question for each is name the character. Name the character. You will have a variety of characters. They might be from films, they might be from TV shows, they might be from video games, any fictional characters. And you need to just name the character. You cannot name the actor, the film, the TV show, the game, anything other than the name of that character in front of you. If it's Michael Corleone off The Godfather and you say it's Al Pacino, you get nothing, any more than you would for saying that it was Stephen Griffin, Peter Griffin off of Family Guy. Yeah, you've got to name the character themselves. And I've tried to make it so that it's very clear who the actor is portraying in each case. There shouldn't be any doubt or ambiguity there, but it's got to be the character in each case. The way we'll do this is once the answer sheet goes in, you will have 10 minutes at leisure to answer the questions, submit your answer sheet, take a break, top up your glasses, eat the Mars bar that you went to buy during round one, and otherwise stand at ease for 10 minutes. I currently make it 2031. Farid, could you put the answer sheet for round 3 into the chat, please? Good. There you go. It's there. So you have got 10 minutes. It's now 2032. We're a little bit ahead, actually. We're usually a little bit slower than this. At 2042, I'll be back on your screens and I'll be hassling you to get your answer sheets in. But you have got 10 minutes to work your way through the 15 images in your picture round and to make sure that you are comfortable for the back end of the quiz. So 10 minutes starting now on round 3. Allons-y. Hello again, everybody. I gave you a little bit longer than 10 minutes, about 13, 14 minutes, but hopefully enough time for you to really get your teeth into that picture round. It looks like we're getting quite a few entries in, which is great. About half the teams, just under now, have submitted their answers. Let's say 5 more minutes and everybody is in. Hopefully won't take even that long, as there are only 5 teams yet to submit. Ooh, Pam, confident. I like it. Smash this round, she says, throwing down the gauntlet to all. I'm sure there are plenty of teams that are feeling confident with this one. Yeah, not surprising. That's a classic misconception, that one. Oh, Justine's confident as well. Love a little bit of trash talk. Well, technically the first name is customizable, so as long as they've got the surname. Abby has asked for more characters from the Bill and Jonathan Creek. Abby can ask for whatever she likes. Hopefully, some of you happy to see the old Disney in there. I know it's an eternal favourite. Try to make sure there's a little bit of something for everyone. Socialites and nerds alike. We do. I can't get this to stay back up. The old Surface Pro keeps falling down. Sorry to get so close to the camera. No one wants to see that. Just the Surface Pro's struggling to keep it up. Sorry. Who are we waiting on? Tequila Mockingbirds. So if Tequila Mockingbirds, Laggers, Legends, and Let's Get Quizzical can get their answers in, that would be superb. Means we can press on. So a slight little adjustment to the camera angle there. Yep, so just Tequila and Laggers now, and we can make a start. No, unfortunately not. Need the characters' names. Otherwise, otherwise the whole round's thrown into disrepute if you can just describe the characters. Helen, have you dropped your phone again? I think this is the power play from a team who are feeling very, very confident at the moment. There we go. All in. Farad will get those last few marked as I go through the answers. So, question 1. I believe the actor is Emilio Estevez, and he is portraying Gordon Bombay from the Mighty Ducks series. John Marshall described this the other day as the greatest film trilogy of all time. There was some dispute, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, The Godfather, highlighted in rebuttal, but Marshall was convinced The Mighty Ducks was the greatest film series of all time. We've accepted Gordon Bombay or Coach Bombay for that one. Question 2. That was Link from the Legend of Zelda series. Quite a few people have said Zelda. It's a classic misconception. Zelda is the princess from those games, but Link is the sword-wielding hero. So the answer was Link. Question 3. Gryffindor Quidditch captain in Harry's first year, Oliver Wood from the Harry Potter films, Oliver Wood. Question 4, digging deep into your knowledge of The Simpsons there. That was Frank Grimes, who was a character who became so frustrated with Homer's kind of ability to blunder through life that he ended up electrocuting himself to death in one of the, I think, the great all-time classic Simpsons episodes. Question 5 was, of course, Samuel L. Jackson's Mace Windu, the fearsome member of the Jedi Council, Mace Windu. Question 6 was a Reservoir Dogs character portrayed by Steve Buscemi. That was Mr. Pink. Mr. Pink, one of the gangsters from Reservoir Dogs. Question 7 was Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy, the cartoon series. Question 8, you ain't my mother. Yes, I am. It was, of course, the delightful Cat Slater, clad all in leopard print, as always. Question 9 is the greatest Mario Kart character of all time, the villainous Waluigi, the sidekick of Wario. Question 10, one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. Question 10 was the wonderful Sergeant Pat Harper from the Sharp series. Sergeant Pat Harper. We've accepted just Sergeant Harper for that one, with his big kind of like 7-barreled shotgun, the sergeant in Sharp's Chosen Men. Question 11, a real classic Doctor Who companion. That was Ace from Doctor Who. Question 12, we've accepted either his superhero name or his civilian alter ego. The Falcon, aka Sam Wilson from the Marvel series, the carrying the torch now as Captain America after Endgame. Question 13, a few people getting half of this or saying, are there Ursula's eels? But most teams, or 3/4 of teams, able to identify them as Flotsam and Jetsam, the villainous eels from The Little Mermaid. Question 14, I would say probably the greatest video game series of all time. That is Commander Shepard from the Mass Effect series, specifically the female version. Can be male, can be female, but that is Commander Shepard. And question 15, the USSR's champion in the sort of Cold War of boxing in Rocky IV, that is Dolph Lundgren's Ivan Drago. Ivan Drago was the answer to question 15. So, an eclectic picture around there, something for everybody. And it has seen a change at the top. I love to see it. So, I will start with the teams who are on 35 points or more. So 35 points puts you in joint 6th place. So with 35 points each, Quiz Reed and the Thompson Tartans. Both doing pretty well on that round. Still strong on that round, still 11 and 14, but not quite enough to stay in the top tier. In joint 4th place with 36 points each, I think possibly a career high for Financier Chances, and a little bit of a fumble from Tequila Mockingbird, who slipped down into joint 4th. In joint 2nd place with 37 points each, the Wilborns and Winfield's Redemption, which means her confidence was very well placed, because leaping to the top of the table with 38 points out of a possible 45, we have Pam Leach and family. That is Agatha Christie. So well done, Pam. Always dangerous there. We smashed this round, but clearly you backed yourself, and you were right to do so. You were right to do so. So Agatha Christie, top of the tree with 38, followed closely by Winfield's Redemption and the Wilborns. Ooh la la. What a round in terms of the table. So, round 4, you know how this works by now, I would hope. The answer sheet is going to appear in the chat momentarily. And it's in there. You will find that you have 3 sets of 5 questions. Question 1, 2, 3, and 4 will all just have an answer. Question 5 will ask you what links the answers to the previous 4 questions. The same is then true of question 6 through to 10 and 11 through to 15. In each case, there is a link that I am looking for, my link, and if you come up with another link, it's unlikely that it's going to be what I'm after. The link will work with all 4 answers in a way that most probably won't, but if you do think you have a genuine link that works for all 4, we might be willing to have a little discussion, but it's unlikely. I will, rather than reading through 1 to 15, as always, I will read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Okay? So it's a little bit of a quizzing cliche, but there really is all to play for going into the final round. So question number 1 in round 4 is: which 1976 mystery spoof featured performances from Alec Guinness, David Niven, Peter Sellers, and the author Truman Capote? Question number 2. Which song, which has been recorded by Gladys Knight and Marvin Gaye, amongst others, features the lyrics, "I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue"? I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue. What's the song? Question number 3. Which video game character, a genetically enhanced marsupial, has been the nemesis of the villainous Dr. Neo Cortex since 1996? And question number 4. Iceland's Althing, founded around 930 AD, is generally considered to be the world's oldest surviving example of what? The Althing. And question number 5 is, of course, what connects the answers to questions 1, 2, 3, and 4? And I will give you questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 a second time. So, question number 1. Which 1976 mystery spoof featured performances from Alec Guinness, David Niven, Peter Sellers, and the author Truman Capote? Question 2. Which song, which has been recorded by Gladys Knight and Marvin Gaye, amongst others, features the lyrics, "I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue"? Question 3. Which video game character, a genetically enhanced marsupial, has been the nemesis of the villainous Dr. Neo Cortex since 1996? And question 4. Iceland's Althing, founded around 930 AD, is generally considered the world's oldest surviving example of what? And question 5. What connects the answers to those 4 questions? Okay, moving on to your second connection set with question 6. Which football club currently face relegation at the bottom of League One, having been deducted 12 points at the beginning of the season for failing to fulfill 2 fixtures? I presume you knew this one, Farad. Good. Crying shame. Question number 7. Born Stephen James Anderson in 1964, which professional wrestler became the first person to break out of The Rock's rock bottom finisher in their epic match at WrestleMania 15? And I obviously want his wrestling name there rather than just saying, well, you told us it's Stephen James Anderson. What is he known as in the world of the WWE? Question number 8. John Deacon was the bass guitarist for which well-known rock band? And question number 9. Bob Mortimer blew the mind of Paddy McGuinness on an episode of Top Gear when he revealed that he was the original voice of which television canine? And question number 10. What links the answers to question 6, 7, 8, and 9, which I will, of course, give you one more time. So question 6. Which football club currently face relegation at the bottom of League One, having been deducted 12 points at the beginning of the season for failing to fulfill 2 fixtures? Question 7. Stephen James Anderson, born in 1964, born Stephen James Anderson in 1964, which wrestler became the first person to break out of The Rock's rock bottom finisher in their epic match at WrestleMania 15? Question 8. John Deacon was the bass guitarist for which well-known rock band? And question 9. Bob Mortimer blew the mind of Paddy McGuinness on an episode of Top Gear when he revealed that he was the original voice of which television canine? And question 10, what links the answers to questions 6, 7, 8, and 9? So a little bit of thinking time on those connections. Question 11. Which breakfast dish is made of an English muffin, poached eggs, ham or bacon, and hollandaise sauce? What was that, Barry? Yeah, I noticed that. On the golf course, no doubt. Question 12. Which actor's credits include Éomer in The Lord of the Rings, Judge Dredd in the 2012 film Dredd, and Scourge in Thor Ragnarok? So which actor has played those 3 roles in recent years? I say recent years. Lord of the Rings is 20 years ago, isn't it? Terrifying. Question 13. What full name links the so-called father of the US Navy and a member of Led Zeppelin? And question 14. Which French king who came to the throne at the age of just 15 married Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1558? And as you are such seasoned quizzes by now, I do want the name and regnal number for a point. Maybe just the name will be enough to help you with the connection, but for the point for question 14, I do want the name and regnal number. And question 15 is very predictably, what connects the answers to questions 11, 12, 13, and 14? So that last set, one more time. Which breakfast dish is made of an English muffin, poached eggs, ham or bacon, and hollandaise sauce? Question 12. Which actors' credits include Éomer in The Lord of the Rings, Judge Dredd in 2012's Dredd, and Scourge in Thor Ragnarok? Question 13. What full name links the so-called father of the US Navy and a member of Led Zeppelin? Question 14. Which French king who came to the throne at the age of just 15 married Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1558? And finally, what connects the answers to questions 11, 12, 13, and 14? And if you get those in as soon as you are ready and as confident as you can be, we can see how the final scores pan out. Question 14 again for Lagers Legends. Which French king who came to the throne at the age of just 15 married Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1558? And I do want a name and regnal number. I know these always take a little bit longer as you're trying to work your way through them, so there's no huge rush, but just as quickly as you can. Question 1, Victoria. Which 1976 mystery spoof featured performances from Alec Guinness, David Niven, Peter Sellers, and Truman Capote? And you can submit your answers as soon as you are ready and able. Vari, question 3. Which video game character, a genetically enhanced marsupial, has been the nemesis of the villainous Dr. Neo Cortex since 1996? You're welcome. So answers starting to trickle in now, which is great to see. Some strong early performances by the looks of things. Get it. God, it's going to be a thrilling climax, isn't it? I have. It's going to be fascinating. Column 8 there, or row 8 there, Farid. Question 5. Accept that. Oh no, sorry, not. It was a different thing. I thought it was for the next one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Question 12 for you, Steph. Give me one moment. I've panned over to the entries form. I won't be a second. Justine, they are famously only easy if you know the answer. Steph, question 12. Which actors' credits include Éomer in The Lord of the Rings, Judge Dredd in the 2012 film Dredd, and Scourge in Thor Ragnarok? So about just under half of teams have now submitted. I always expect this one to take a little bit longer, which is absolutely fine as you connect the dots and you fire the neurons and the myelin starts working as you try to bring these disparate answers to some sort of unity of conclusion. Just keep working hard, and ideally, if you can get them in within the next couple of minutes, we can go through the answers. I imagine we're going to have a interesting final round on our hands in terms of scores. Well, I've got to test you, Jackie. Otherwise, it's just 15 after 15 after 15, and I begin to feel that I've underpitched. When everyone's so bloody clever, got to work hard. And a lot of people have done really well, actually. Quite a few of the connections have been seized upon. And we've still only got about half of the answers back, so there could be many, many more clean sweeps. Waiting on about half a dozen teams now. 5 or 6 teams left to submit. Lady Providers, Tequila Mockingbirds, Finance Your Chances, I Ain't Getting On No Plane, Winfield's Redemption, and Social Distancing. Just waiting on you now. With a table this tight, I completely understand why you are taking your time. I am very much prepping a tiebreaker ready because I've got a strong feeling that with a field this close, it might go down to the wire again. And who doesn't love a tiebreaker? Who doesn't love sudden death? Who doesn't love a shootout at the end? It's what we're all here for, really, isn't it? A little bit of quizzing drama. Sudden death dodgeball. Winfield's already got the blindfold ready this time. It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off. How many players have we ended up with tonight, Farad? 20 teams, so still 80 odd players. Yeah, well, for those of you that are still listening and haven't muted me while you try and figure things out, it is so gratifying to just have still 20 teams tuning in, week out to play along and to give up 2 hours of their evening to this quiz. So thank you for your continued support, and I hope your continued enjoyment of the quiz. It really is. It really does make all of the work in the midweek worthwhile of putting the questions together and coming up with the connections. And Farad does an awful lot in terms of the sort of formatting of things and sending out those emails. So thank you for continuing to play along with us. Just waiting now on Tequila Mockingbirds, carrying on with their best team goes last strategy. Lady Covidus, eyebrows stuck together, or eyelashes stuck together, and social distancing taking their time a little bit as well. I must admit, I do like when people say the connections are tricky, especially when you've got all 4 answers right and then still struggling with a connection. I think I feel a little bit of success there. I like that. I think we're good. So have a quick look. I still see Lady Covidus to submit. Shirley, just waiting on you now. There we go, all in. So, whilst Farad frenetically marks those last few to come in, I'll give you the answers and hopefully put a few of you out of your, let's not say misery, that's too negative, out of your curiosity. So, question number 1 in the first connection set. The mystery spoof with the all-star cast of Alec Guinness, David Niven, Peter Sellers and Truman Capote was the wonderful Murder by Death. Murder by Death. Very, very funny film with some really good performances. Wow, every single team got this one right, and I thought this was tough. Gladys Knight and Marvin Gaye, I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue. Well, of course, it's because I heard it through the grapevine. Question 3, the video game character, the marsupial, who was the nemesis of Cortex, was, of course, Crash Bandicoot, the orange bandicoot who spins around and jumps on crates and eats Wumpa fruit. And the old thing in Iceland is the oldest surviving example of a parliament. A parliament. Now, a lot of people getting all 4 of those, but not getting the connection. And it requires arguably a slightly obscure subset of knowledge, but when you hear them, I think it might click. So, the first one, the film. If we take the murder from Murder by Death, and if we take I heard It Through the Grapevine, and the Crash from Crash Bandicoot, and join them together with Parliament, we have Murder, Herd, Crash, and Parliament. A murder of crows, a herd of cattle, a crash of rhinos, and a parliament of owls. They are all collective animal nouns or names for groups of animals. Yeah, you all heard of a murder of crows, crash of rhinos, perhaps familiar, and the herd was buried in that song title as well. So they are all collective animal nouns. About a third of teams got that one. 7 got that one. 7 teams got that connection. So well, if you got that one, clearly a toughie. Second set. The football team, who are languishing at the bottom of League One, having failed to fulfil fixtures due to falling into administration. That is Bolton Wanderers. Bolton Wanderers. 7 teams got it, Jackie. About a third of the teams got that one. Question 7, the wrestler born Stephen James Anderson, who was the kind of rival of The Rock in the heyday of WWE, was, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin. John Deacon was the bass guitarist for Queen. Almost everybody getting that one right. And Bob Mortimer blew the mind of Paddy McGuinness on an episode of Top Gear when he revealed that he was the original voice of Churchill the dog off of the adverts. Churchill. Oh, this connection has proven tough. Only one team got this one right. So, if we take the Bolton from Bolton Wanderers, the Austin from Steve Austin, and Churchill from Churchill the dog, we've got Winston Churchill, Jane Austen, and Matthew Bolton, who appear on the £5 note, the £10 note, and the £50 note. The Queen, of course, appears on all UK banknotes. All of these are linked by appearance on current UK banknotes. Tough one. Not my toughest connection yet. There was that one on US state capitals which did outfox everybody, but well done to... Fred, am I correct in thinking that was the Fielders? The Fielders that managed to get that one. And finally then, question 11, the breakfast dish, the muffin, the eggs, that had bacon and the hollandaise sauce, Eggs Benedict. Eggs Benedict. The actors' credits, Aylmer, Judge Dredd, and so on, was the wonderful Carl Urban. The father of the US Navy and the member of Led Zepp share the name John Paul Jones. And the French king who married Mary, Queen of Scots, was Francis II. Now, 3 of these clues actually link together well by going backwards from the most recent. If you go Francis, Benedict, John Paul, you have the 3 most recent, and then Urban a little bit earlier. They are all papal names or popes. There have been a number of John Pauls, a number of Benedicts. We're currently on our first Francis, and there were a fair few Urbans as well. So they are all popes or people who have held the office of pope. And that was the easiest connection tonight. 13 out of 20 teams getting that one right. I wonder if that has done enough to shake the table. Oh my God. Sweet Christmas. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Farad, are you sure? Jesus. On a bike. Okay, so you couldn't write the script. You couldn't write the script. You couldn't write the script, honestly. Okay, so a lot of teams in joint 5th place with a very commendable 48 out of 60. In joint 5th place, we have Quiz Read, the Thompson Tartans, Finance Our Chances, and That's it. Sorry, my eyes are going. In joint third place with 49 points each, Tequila Mockingbird and the Wilborns. So Tequila Mockingbird are dethroned. And in joint first place with 50 points each, Agatha Christie and Winfield's Redemption. Winners and Crookie once again finding themselves in a Mexican standoff, high noon shootout situation. It's another bloody tiebreak, isn't it? Good Lord. Well, this time I've come prepared because I had a feeling. This is science versus science. It's man versus machine. It's winners versus leech. It's a battle for the ages. So, we're going to do this in exactly the same way that we did it last time. I'm going to text Dave Hodgson, and he's going to tell me who is the better science teacher, and that person will win. No, that's not what's going to happen. I'm going to give a question. There's no need for that cynicism, Gav. Come on. I'm going to give you a question. This is going to be a question with a very big answer. It's going to be a number. And the team, I don't know why I'm telling you this, Tom. You're an old hand at these by now. Can you check that, Farid, in the chat? Okay. Yeah. Type it in if that's necessary, because I was very, very clear on that one. Cool. All right. Yeah. Challenge denied, unfortunately. I specifically asked for name and regnal number on the French king, and I'm told that the only thing entered was Francis, which is not right, and you didn't get one of the... No, but then they said they should have had 13, which would be that one and that one. Ah, 2 of the connections. Fine. Yeah. Yeah, can you just put that in the chat so I can get on with the old tiebreaker? Right, so I'm going to ask you a question, and each team is going to email Farid and myself via the official Northampton School for Boys Outlook, the sanctioned email account. You're going to email us your answer. The closest answer to the correct value, the accurate value, will win. So, the question once again relates to something that we heard earlier in the quiz. And please, I trust you both and your honesty without fault. But please don't be tempted here to rely on the search engine. I know you haven't done it so far. Don't be tempted now because everyone's watching. The question is, early in the quiz, we established that Nigeria was the most populous nation in Africa. But to the nearest 1,000, what is the population of Nigeria? Actually, not to the nearest 1,000, to one decimal place. To one decimal place. So what is the population of Nigeria? Have a chat, have a think, and get an answer into the email to myself and to Farid, please. What is the population of Nigeria? According to the country's most recent internal census. Thanks, Jackie. No, absolutely fair challenge. And there have been many, many times when people have questioned me. You saw it yourself earlier on, where things have been acceptable or I've been maybe wrong or whatever. It's fair to challenge. I absolutely appreciate doing it. But in this case, I did really clearly say I wanted the name and the regnal number. Mainly because if it happened to be a Louis, there are 20 of them. So, you know, not that it was, but yeah. When I'm asking for a monarch, I'd usually want the name and the regnal number. But no issues with the challenge. Okay, so Agatha Christie have submitted their answer. Winfield's redemption. This really does feel like redemption, doesn't it? The Last Chance Saloon. As I say, he's put the blindfold on. Use the force, winners. Use the force, winners. No. So we've got... Oh, oh man. That's tough, isn't it? Okay. So, both teams have submitted their answers. There are... You go away and Google this, and you might find conflicting statistics. There is a statistic that I have that is the one I'm using. The most recent, up-to-date, non-estimated figures. So, Winfield's Redemption have said that the population of Nigeria is 190 million people. 190 million. Agatha Christie have said that there are 200 million people in Nigeria. The answer that I have is 195.9, which means that the closer answer is Agatha Christie by a Nat Crotchet, which means that the winners of tonight's quiz are once again not the team that features Tom Winfield and Chris Crook. So in the battle of the sciences, it's Pam Leach and Agatha Christie who have come out on top by the narrowest of possible margins. And it's like somebody has tried to make a sports film out of this, because I can't believe it myself. But by the tiniest possible margin, Agatha Christie are tonight's winners. So give a big round of applause to Pam and her team, because that was a close fought thing. Oh, one moment, please. Hello? Oh, he hung up. Winners called me. I can't think why. Oh, he's calling me again. That's Tom. it's just how things are. Mate, you can't say that about Pam. I'm still on the stream. well done. Okay, so that's it. Quiz is over. Pam's the winner. Maybe quizzing is the real winner. Maybe quizzing is the real winner here. Thank you for everyone that's played. Thank you for everyone that's been with us week in, week out. It's hugely appreciated. Farad, are you still there? Have you recovered? I know my heart rate's just dropping now. As always, I'll just throw in the little plug for the £1 donation per week per player. If you want to donate a little bit of money to NSB Charity Week for your participation in the quiz, you know, it's the money you'd put behind the bar in a pub quiz. Probably not as much, let's be honest. Give Farad an email and he'll give you the means in which to do that. It's not compulsory. We don't expect it. It is a discretionary and voluntary payment. Thank you, as always, to everybody that's played. Thank you to the man that makes it all work, Farad, who does an awful lot of work behind the scenes. And And there's really only one thing I can say to finish the quiz, which is stay alert, everybody. And if you can figure out what that means, please let me know. Answers on a postcard. You're all wonderful people. Thanks for playing. Good night, and unlucky Tom.